So this is Lo-Fi, Signature Brew's first ever low alcohol free beer. One of the two, isn't it?
Pick a side.
Hello and welcome to the Liner Notes. I'm Tom, one of the co-founders of Signature Brew, and this is our Liner Notes series all about taking you inside the can. We're talking design, we're talking the way we put these special beers together, and we're talking about those beautiful ingredients that make these beers amazing. If I seem particularly chippy today, it's because I've been on the Lo-Fi all night, not some crazy double IPAs. Before we crack on into the beer, a massive thank you to our friends at Shure. We've been good friends with those guys for a while. They hook us up with the SM58 microphones for our famous tap handles, and they've sorted out some lapel mics for us, so you can hear me clearly, and they're also waterproof, so if I miss my mouth, they're not gonna, electrocute me or break. So this is Lo-Fi, Signature Brew's first ever alcohol-free beer, and it's a massive, juicy, hazy pale ale. We feel it's super important to offer great quality, fresh beer to everyone, whether you drink or you don't. And that was so important to us in this project, making sure that it was just the best quality beer, not just the best quality alcohol-free beer. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the beer and give it a little taste. As you'd imagine from a hazy pale ale, we've got a hazy pale ale, but it's got a really nice white foamy head. You can see that coming out. It looks just so juicy, so tempting. So we've got that really bright yellow hazy body, and then the aroma, you've got big pine and apricot notes that's just bursting out the glass. Really, the aroma is just so massive on this beer. And then to taste, let's give it a go. Again, it's got a lot of citrus, a lot of pine, and so what's really nice for me is just a massive bitterness coming through as well. Bitterness has sort of, had its day in the sunlight 5-10 years ago in craft beer, but it's back, and this is so nice in that beer. So obviously it's an alcohol-free beer, so let me tell you a little bit how we've made this and how it differs from our normal beers and how it actually doesn't differ from our normal beers. So the beer is brewed in the same way as our alcoholic beers. We're just making minor tweaks to make sure that it is alcohol-free. Chiefly that is in the mash schedule, so we've got different temperatures going on there and obviously slightly less ingredients, so a lower malt bill, albeit with a great vibrancy of different malts in there to give a real complex, great backbone for this beer to let those hops shine and that aroma burst out the glass. The real science behind it is the use of maltodextrin, which is a sugar that can add body to the beer, but it isn't fermentable, so we're not going to get alcohol when we obviously want it to be alcohol-free. We've got simcoe hops. It's a single hop beer. Simcoe, a personal favourite of mine, is just giving massive passion fruit and tropical fruit flavours, and just works perfectly, not only in this beer, but it works perfectly on its own. It's one of those hops that can sing solo without it needing a support from other hops. And on the malt front, we've got oats, which are low fermentable, but adding loads of body, which is great. Caramel, just gonna add a little bit of colour to it, and acidulated malt, which is just managing the pH. So in terms of the name, Lo-Fi is inspired by those lo-fi beats when you perhaps want a chill one, or we're working in the office and want some background tunes to focus our minds when we're writing the next big recipe. And some of that sentiment gelled nicely with the idea that sometimes you just want to crack open a good beer, but you don't necessarily want some of the alcohol. You just want to kick back, relax, enjoy the great taste, but you don't want any of the booze. So if we have a little look at the artwork, it's an absolute banger again. Props to Steve Beach, our designer. It's got loads of little fun noodles of information in there, little nuggets to look at. It's a bit of a sketchbook design all the way around, and one you can really get lost in, sort of appreciating the little intricacies and work that's gone into producing the label. The cherubs on the front just felt like a nice little motif. This little rock and roll guy here, we felt was a bit like the Van Halen album 1984, little rock and roll guy. It's so cool. It's one that's you can just get lost in whilst you're having the beer and appreciating the design at the same time. So that's everything you need to know about Lo-Fi. This one is fresh off the press, canned to today. The first few batches have been amazing. It's been received so well. You can get it on signaturebrew.co.uk, get it delivered to your home in 1 or 2 days, crack open a can, pop it in a glass, knock it back, and then do a personal favour to me, jump on Untapped and give it 5 out of 5. So, cheers. Thanks for watching Line Notes. Make sure you've subscribed so you know when our next videos are hitting, and stay tuned.